Hello, happy Friday. Welcome on into Let's Bet It. Zeno, how the heck are you?
Since it is Friday, I'm outstanding. How are you, Lauren? You seem to be in much sunnier locales than I am.
Do I?
Yes.
I wonder. Well, it is NBA All-Star break. I have 4 days off. So I am down in Naples, Florida. Gonna go enjoy the beach after this. This is my mood right now. Do you know this song? Here, right? Ready? Hold on.
It's Friday then. It's Saturday, Sunday.
There you go.
It's Saturday, Sunday. Just in case I forget the days of the week, I always play that song. It's Friday, then it's Saturday, Sunday. So just a little reminder if you ever need Zeno. Sometimes I forget. So
Well, I have small children, so we always play the days of the week song anyway. So I'm always familiar with day of the week it is.
Your children and myself. It is
Yes.
okay. Well, we got an exciting show for you today. So it's funny because we were going to do this show with Alex Glaze today, but he had a snowstorm pass through his town of where he's living. Dude lost power. So Mark Zeno, about an hour and a half ago, got the phone call, next man up mentality, and now he is here. He's ready to go, ice in his veins. And
Yep.
he's
Call the bullpen. Let's go.
Only someone that's really good at their job and knows what they're talking about can be ready in 90 minutes. You know?
So I try.
That's you.
It's my military preparedness, Lauren. It allows me to be very agile.
I love it. I know. Like a cat, like a ninja, whatever they say. Well, I'm really excited to get to do the show with you today. Nice little surprise for this Friday afternoon. We got a lot to talk about NFL futures because I don't know if you just heard the Super Bowl ended. So why not look at next year's Super Bowl odds and talk about who we think is going to win 2023 Super Bowl LVII. Is that what it is? 57? Yep. Good Roman numerals. And then we got some NHL chat with our good friend Pete Jensen, some college basketball predictions. And then we can't end without our Pickswise 3-star play of the day and our best bets of the day. So let's get right into it. Let's get it. Let's bet it. NFL futures. I'm looking at the Google sheet, my friend, and we are both on the Buffalo Bills for one of our picks. Please tell me why, then I'll add on.
I mean, look, this was by far the best team in the playoffs this year. I think we all saw that. We know that they have the talent to win it. We know that they're going to be a clear favorite to win their division once again, and that's step one. So when you look at this Buffalo Bills team, they have the right quarterback, they have the right coach, they certainly have the offense, they certainly have the defense. This is a team that by all accounts should be back in the AFC Championship game again. They'll have a chip on their shoulder after losing once again, but they will put a lot more emphasis on the regular season and getting home field advantage because I know if this game is in Buffalo, they are not losing and they are going back to the Super Bowl. And what a moment for this Bills team if they can actually get back to a Super Bowl and win it after, the 4 in a row that they lost. But this is just by far the best team going into the regular season next year.
Absolutely. And that's why they're the favorites on most sports books, Bills plus 700. There's not even a hesitation from me, honestly, on this one. Josh Allen has gone from great player to star to superstar. And now he's kind of like the face of the NFL for all intents and purposes. I still say this, if McDermott would have squib kicked it with 13 seconds left, they would have beaten the Chiefs and they would have dropped the Bengals and Rams. I truly, truly, truly believe that. Josh Allen makes everybody better and everyone is already really good. I think losing Brian Daboll to the Giants hurts a little bit. But you see Ken Dorsey, he had his promotion had a stamp of approval from Allen. Stephon Diggs, another Pro Bowl season. Gabriel Davis having a record-setting performance. Bill receiving cores imposing. Singletary coming into his own with the run game. I mean, their defense was number 1 in points and yards allowed, and that was without Tre'Davious White. They're going to be so good this year, and they're going to be hungry coming off of what happened to them this year.
I don't worry about the loss of Daboll as much. I mean, look, the other sample size that we have is Ryan Tannehill losing Arthur Smith when he went to go coach the Falcons, and look what happened to Tannehill. But it's also really hard to figure out because Ryan Tannehill lost Derrick Henry for half the season, and their offense changed dramatically. If Josh Allen falls off because Brian Daboll isn't there, then I would question how good Josh Allen really is. And I just don't think he's that type of quarterback. I think he'll be able to rise above all this stuff. And worst case scenario, Josh Allen can make plays with his legs better than anybody in this league, even Patrick Mahomes or Lamar Jackson to that extent. So I think he'll be fine. I don't worry about the loss of Brian Daboll for a quarterback like Josh Allen.
Yeah. The other one I'm looking at here, you have the Raiders at 50 to 1 odds right now. Please enlighten me, my friend.
Okay.
Okay. Where do I start?
Well, here's the thing. Okay. When you ask me this question right now, I'm always going to look for, a somewhat of a favorite and a long shot because Look at the Bengals. They're proof of it that a long shot can do this thing.
Yeah.
Do you know how many non-playoff teams are favored to win the Super Bowl above the Las Vegas Raiders, who made the playoffs last year? I'll let you know. There's 10 of them. The Washington Commanders have better odds to win the Super Bowl than the Raiders do. So this is a Raiders team that I backed this year to make the playoffs, and they made me look really smart. They went through a heck of a season with a lot of tumultuousness and a lot of problems and still managed to be above board. They get a coach in Josh McDaniels, and this is the real question. If Josh McDaniels can do what I think he can do, because he's still a very good offensive coach, if he can do for Derek Carr what he has done for Tom Brady, what he did for Mac Jones, then the sky is the limit with this offense. And oh, by the way, the Las Vegas Raiders, their defense this year ranked 14th. You know what ranked the year before when they missed the playoffs?
Where?
25th. They're only going to get better on the defensive side of the ball. All three other AFC West teams have better odds to win the Super Bowl than the Las Vegas Raiders, including the Denver Broncos, who right now currently have Teddy Bridgewater at quarterback.
Andrew Luck. Don't forget about
Andrew Luck. Yes, of course. How could I forget Drew Luck? I think this is an incredible value bet. This Raiders team is going to make the playoffs again. If there is one team in the AFC West that has the number that is the Kansas City Chiefs kryptonite, it is the Las Vegas Raiders. They know how to beat that team. They've done it each of the last 3 years routinely. This is a very talented and very good team. The real question is, can Josh McDaniels coach them over the top?
Yeah, I actually really like that, to be honest with you. And they made the playoffs this season going like with everything else going on off of the field. I mean, they had so many hardships and issues going on off the field, and they were still able to make the postseason. It really was kind of like a Cinderella story for them. This year, they probably won't have, I mean, fingers crossed, they don't have more of those issues that they have to deal with. But, you know, at the same time, like the football that they were putting on the field, it was fun to watch.
And Derek Carr continues to be undervalued as a quarterback in this league.
I actually agree with you on that. I also think he's just like a good dude, and you root for good dudes. You know what I mean? Another team that I'm looking at is the San Francisco 49ers at plus 1,500. They're 15-1 odds. I just think the team is ready to rock. They need better production from Jimmy G, in my opinion. But to be honest, I think that maybe the Jimmy G era is over for the Niners. Maybe Trey Lance and his raw talent takes over this season. I heard a quote from Deebo Samuel. He was in LA last week, and he was on Radio Row, and he was just talking about Trey Lance and what he thinks that he's going to be able to bring. And he said Trey Lance is going to be a star. He said he has all the tools in the kit, but he just needs to learn how to be a pro. And that's something that he's been working on over the last year or so underneath Jimmy G. But Deebo Samuel also said he thinks he's going to be ready to go come September. So that's a really interesting thing. The Niners have all of the talent basically everywhere else. Deebo Samuel fuels Kyle Shanahan's offense defensively, unreal front seven. Nick Bosa, he hunts down the quarterback. The NFC is also kind of wide open. I could see them going a long way this season. And actually, Jared said something really interesting the other day. He was talking about Aaron Rodgers. And obviously, like the Denver Broncos right now are the spot that a lot of people think that Aaron Rodgers is going to go. But Jared brought up the point because someone, I forgot which sports book it was on, but someone placed a $20,000 futures bet on San Francisco to win the Super Bowl this season. And Jared said, I honestly think this could be a place where Aaron Rodgers would go. He's from California. The only thing that the 49ers really need to win a Super Bowl, because they have all of the other pieces right now, really strong defense, strong receiving core, strong running backs, like all they need really is a quarterback at this point. So when you're looking at a team, and I know Rodgers wants to win a Super Bowl, right? When you're looking at a team with the foundation to come in and maybe get some stuff done, win a Super Bowl, like could you see him possibly going to San Francisco?
I mean, anything is possible with Aaron Rodgers, right? He's like a real wild card in that sense.
Yeah.
It does make sense, obviously, being from California. It makes a lot of sense that he would go from a Matt LaFleur offense to a Kyle Shanahan offense, considering those guys coach together in Atlanta. So it's not like the lingo would be that much different for him to learn. Yeah. He's certainly got a lot more talent on the offensive side of the football, a better running game, better offensive line. So there's a lot of reasons for him to do it. But part of me still thinks Aaron Rodgers is either retiring or staying in Green Bay. I don't know that there's another path for him at this point.
You think him and Tom Brady retire the same year? You don't think that he's going to go somewhere else? You really don't?
I don't know if he cares that much anymore. I think he's angered. I think he has just been ticked off by enough people, and he's ticked off enough people that he just doesn't care anymore. I don't think he's anything left to prove, to be honest with you. So what if his legacy isn't having 2 Super Bowls? So what? Like, I mean, still, I think he's comfortable with where he is and who he is. And at this point, he can call it a career and not really have anything to answer for after that.
Yeah. I can see that. I don't think he's retiring. I don't think he's retiring this year.
I don't think he will. It just wouldn't shock me if he did.
Yeah, that makes sense. All right, let's transition to the ice. NHL, baby. Let's bring in our friend Pete Jensen from NHL, the NHL Fantasy on Ice podcast. Pete, it's been a minute since we've seen you. How are you doing?
Doing great. We're past the midway point of the season, all-star break behind us, looking ahead to the stretch run, playoff runs, Stanley Cup futures, everything like that, awards races. So great time to be on with you guys.
Yeah, thank you so much for taking the time to join us and really break everything down. First of all, I just want to start off with the Eastern Conference because right now, exceptionally strong. It's a tight race for first at this point. Who do you think is going to run away with that 1 seed down the stretch?
I do think it's going to be the Florida Panthers. This
Ice
team
Caps,
is even deeper than the Tampa Bay Lightning, who have won, obviously, back-to-back Stanley Cup titles. But this team, even when guys have been missing, their offense has been in line with the other best offense in the league, the Colorado Avalanche out west. So regular season speaking, I don't think there's anybody better, maybe with the exception of Tampa Bay and Carolina in terms of scoring depth and firepower and, having a big five group of skaters that can really put you over the top any given game. But one thing about Florida that could translate to the playoffs as well, I was looking best winning percentage in the NHL when trailing after one period and also trailing after two periods is the Florida Panthers. So this team, even when they get down, they have the fight left in the tank, even in these regular season games, to overcome the deficit. So that really shows that they're a viable team to target on a nightly basis, even when they fall behind early.
Mm-hmm.
Pete, two-part question here. There's only one team in the league right now that has a top 5 offense and top 5 in goals against. That's the Toronto Maple Leafs. This is a team that hasn't won a Stanley Cup in the better part of 55 years. But when you go into the playoffs, because a team like Toronto is so balanced on both sides of the ice, do you put more value on a team that can score or a team that can defend as far as winning the Stanley Cup is concerned?
More on if a team has good possession metrics and can defend, certainly. Toronto, there's always something every year. Either the stars go quiet. Last year was Marner and Matthews couldn't score in the playoffs. And John Tavares got injured. So it was also injury related for him. I mean, last year, Jack Campbell played really well in their series loss to the Canadiens, who went on to shockingly make the Cup final. So that's really how close the Leafs have been in certain seasons. It's just all about putting it together, having the stars align. All these different teams are going to be looking for it. Vegas hopes that all their best players are going to be healthy come the right time of year, from Eichel to Stone and Martinez and Leonard. And Colorado's hoping, that Kadri doesn't get suspended and that the team can be its full force come playoff time, which was not the case last year. So the same applies to Toronto, only unfortunately they haven't won a playoff series since 2004. So I think that's the second longest drought in the NHL behind the Florida Panthers, who are likely to change that this year. They haven't won a playoff series since 1996. But
really?
I have
96. I didn't realize it was that long.
Since they made the finals and lost to the Avalanche that year. Yeah. So, But anyway, back to the Maple Leafs. I just think that the path is really tough in that Atlantic division. They're going to have to probably beat not only Florida, but also Tampa the next round or vice versa. So I have my doubts about Toronto's Toronto from a future standpoint.
Yeah, you look at another team in the East with the Bruins. They've been looking a little rocky lately. The whole Tuukka Rask not playing right now, and then Brad Marchand suspended for how many more games? I think still like 2 more games, and then Bergeron.
A couple more.
I mean, do you? Is there a chance that we see a team like the Bruins, with the talent that they have, miss the playoffs this season just because of all of the issues that they're going through right now?
I mean, the East playoff race looks pretty set right now. But that's depending on whether the Bruins fall off here, because with Tuukka Rask, he wasn't playing earlier in the year, and then he was dealing with an injury again, so he announced his retirement. And then also they have secondary scoring concerns. I mean, they did a nice job earlier in the season spreading things out and putting Pasternak on the second line, And then when Rask came back, you start to look at them for their cup appeal, and you're like, all right, maybe they're back in the mix here. But now I think with that chain of events, I think it's a tough task for them to win the cup at this point. And if they fall off, I mean, look at last night, for example. They played the New York Islanders, who were probably the only team that could catch them because they have games in hand, and the Islanders beat up on them on Long Island. So in one night, things change where maybe the Bruins aren't safe to make the playoffs. They're likely to make the playoffs, but maybe they won't if they fall off here.
Pete, you mentioned the Islanders. That's my hometown team as a kid. Their odds are pretty long to win the Stanley Cup, but there are some other middling teams, in both conferences that could provide some problems, whether it's the Capitals, a veteran seasoned team who's already won a couple of years ago, or a team like the Rangers, even go across to the West where it's Nashville, it's the Vegas Golden Knights who have that playoff experience. Is there a team that kind of sits in the middle that's quietly sort of, you think, lurking, that still has a very good chance to make a deep playoff run to the Cup?
I'm definitely looking at the Calgary Flames because they just traded for Tyler Toffoli, who was a stud last year for the Canadiens in their Cup run. He made a deep run the year prior with the Vancouver Canucks. He's won the Stanley Cup with Darryl Sutter, who's his new/old coach in Calgary. They won it in 2014 with the Kings. So this guy's a winner, and he joins a group with, I think, a lot of urgency. It's Johnny Gaudreau's contract year, so he's been lighting it up. Literally, and I think Johnny Hockey, and also Jacob Markstrom leads the NHL in shutouts. He's got 8 shutouts, and we're only just past the halfway point in the season. So Calgary is now rolling 3 strong lines after they got Toffoli, and they're quietly ahead of the Golden Knights in the Pacific Division. So whereas like a week ago we might have said, Calgary, are they really made for a deep playoff run? Now you feel a lot better about that. So I think Calgary's definitely lurking. We'll see if they could stay healthy, but they're going to be a dangerous out in the playoffs, especially with how well Darryl Sutter's system has translated in years past.
You look at a team like the Oilers, they're sitting at 57 points right now. New head coach and Jay Woodcroft. Like, what do you think about him as the helm of that team and in the wins that the Oilers have had under him? And do you think that he can bring the Oilers some postseason success this year?
I mean, the Oilers roster is a little flawed. The goaltending, they have 3 goalie options, none of which are that great. I mean, they're good from time to time, but they can't sustain. I can't see any of those 3 guys, Mike Smith, the veteran, Mikko Koskinen, who just came off COVID list. He's been pretty decent at stretches this year, or their younger guy, Stuart Skinner, who had a shutout the other day. I just don't know that any of those 3 guys can take them on a deep playoff run. So they may have to address goaltending at the trade deadline. I don't know if they could be in on the Marc-Andre Fleury mix, but that would certainly be something that would excite me futures-wise. So keep an eye on the Oilers. They're playing well under their new coach, who brings new wrinkles. He has connections with a lot of these younger players that he coached in the AHL from the same system. So that's a good sign for sure. And they got 2 of the best players in the world in McDavid and Draisaitl, plus Evander Kane. If Evander Kane is, healthy, disciplined, scoring in the playoffs, he gives them a new dimension of physicality, whether he's playing with McDavid or Draisaitl. So I really like that pickup by them.
Final one for me, Pete. You mentioned McDavid. He's the leading candidate right now, as far as odds are concerned, to win the Hart Memorial Trophy, the MVP for the NHL. Is that the guy you like, or is it an Austin Matthews, even an Alexander Ovechkin, maybe even a Jonathan Huberdeau as a guy that you could put some money on and find some value?
Yeah, I don't know that the general hockey fan really realizes what's been going on with Jonathan Huberdeau among the league leaders in scoring. He was leading the league in scoring at the All-Star break, playing on a separate line from Alexander Barkov, who he used to be attached with. And you could always have credited his success and high scoring ways to playing with Barkov. For 2 seasons now, he's taken it up a notch, playing away from Barkov at even strength. So I would say that there's a real chance that Huberdeau could continue to make waves here. And if the Panthers are that great regular season team that ends up competing with Colorado for the President's Trophy, the ceiling could be very high for Huberdeau in the awards market. But I do think that if Alex Ovechkin leads the league in scoring goals and also is like top 5 in points, which he's been for the better part of the season, that is a narrative that may really translate to the Hart Trophy race, because he, in the later stages of his career, is honestly playing as well as he ever has. So that's been really impressive. And you know how much narratives and things like that play into the MVP race, because it is voters voting for these awards.
Mm-hmm. Pete, last one for me too. Your front runner right now to win the Stanley Cup. Who you got?
I picked the Avalanche in the beginning of the season. I liked how they buckled down the other day. I know Vegas was missing some guys despite getting Eichel back, but still, that was a big stage for Eichel. You know, one of the greatest matchups of the season so far in terms of anticipation, and they shut them out. So Darcy Kemper, if he's playing this well, I still think the Avalanche are equipped with Kadri playing at a near MVP level this season.
So well. Yeah.
Between him and Kemper, that could really set them apart from years past, where one year it was Kadri suspended. The other year, both of their goaltenders got injured. Oh. You know the story, Lauren, by now. But yeah, I think this could be. The
year before the Dave Landeskog offsides call, that was.
Yeah, right. Of course. Great.
3 years in a row. 3 years.
So my preseason pick was Avs over Lightning. I'm definitely growing on the Florida Panthers. I think they're the real deal. It could be Florida. Florida's maybe the only team that I could see beating Tampa in a 7-game series, but I do have my doubts about Tampa three-peating. So I would say Colorado. That's the way I've been leaning.
Final answer. We're locking it in, Pete. Thank you so much for taking the time. This is Pete Jensen from NHL and NHL Fantasy on Ice podcast. Have a great week, and I'm sure we'll talk to you down this stretch run here too.
Thanks for having me, and enjoy the stretch run. There are some good playoff races in the Western Conference for sure, even though most of the East seems to be solidified. But thanks for having me.
Thanks so much. Pete. Appreciate it. Okay, let's take it from the ice, my friend Zeno, to college basketball, the boys, the kids, as Alex would like to call them. We'll get through this quickly. You're on Butler St. John's. You like a little underdog. Woo! In this spot.
Yeah, Butler this year 5-2 as a dog. St. John's conversely 4-8 as a home favorite. The first meeting 75-72 in favor of St. John's. They've got the good offense, but they've got the bad defense. Butler's got the below average offense and the really good defense. So it's a test of wills here, a styles make fights kind of deal. It's just too many points for the Johnnies. Even though they're my hometown team as a kid growing up, it was on Long Island. It was great to root for St. John's in their heyday with Luke Carnesecca. There's just too many points for a St. John's offense. That defense allows too many teams to stay in games.
I like it. I actually might tell you on this one. Butler, baby, +9. I'm taking it. Well, since Jared's not here, someone's got to go a little dumpster diving. Someone's got to get a little dirty. Okay. Wright State taking on Oakland, Horizon League, Golden Grizzlies, baby. I like Oakland laying 4 in this spot. This is the second time that these teams have faced this season. The Raiders took care of business in the first match. Oakland, though, coming off of a win against Detroit, they've only allowed 30 or 59 points in that game. They need that defense and pressure again against the Raiders to close out their shooters. Oakland right now has the 91st most efficient defense on Ken Palm. That's going to be able to slow down Wright State, I think. They're also averaging 8.69 steals per game. That's the 27th best rate in the nation. And they're only giving up 31 points in the first half, which allows them to build a lead early. The defense, for me, is going to carry them through in this game on home court. Offensively, though, they're scoring 75.9 points per game. Wright State has one of the least efficient defenses in the entire college basketball. They won't be able to slow Oakland down. They're 256th right now in Ken Palm. They're giving up most points per game. That trend ain't stopping anybody, okay? I think they're going to allow Oakland to run on the offensive side of the floor. Both teams are teams that push the ball. The Golden Grizzlies are going to be able to push a little bit more. Push it real good. I'm just like in a singing, dancing mood today. But I think the Golden Grizzlies are going to be really efficient. And don't worry, guys. I know a lot of people are asking for the ice picks. I got it for my best bet of the day. So just hold your horses, all right? But yeah, I like the Golden Grizzlies laying 4 in this one. Lock it in at home. And fun fact, that was my first actual broadcasting job. I was a sideline reporter for the Oakland Golden Grizzlies on ESPN3, interviewing head coach Greg Campy. So I have a little soft spot for my Golden Grizzlies as well.
There you go.
Yeah. Fun fact. That's how I got into broadcasting. So
wow.
Yeah. Okay, before we get into our best bets of the day, let's talk a little bit about the Pickswise.com 3-star play of the day. Who do we have today?
Our 3-star play of the day comes courtesy of Henry Hardwick here on the pitch for soccer. He's got Brighton on the money line, -150 Brighton, and Hove Albion taking on Burnley. And so Henry Hardwick's Brighton -150 on the money line, the 3-star play of the day on the Pickswise website.
Go check out why, Pickswise.com. And I know, Zeno, you're not your best bet of the day, but you did have some ice picks. Do you want to go through those quickly?
I did. I had one more ice pick. I had Dallas and Chicago in the under 1.5 in the first period. Chicago on the tail end of a back-to-back here, probably going to be a little bit sluggish. Both of these teams middle of the road when it comes to about 500 on first period overs. So it's a coin flip situation. And at -112, I like the situation here with Chicago coming off a back-to-back, as long as they don't give up two goals in the first period, which happened the last 2 times these 2 teams met. I like the under in this spot. And I'm also, it's a heavy number of juice, but Florida and Minnesota, 2 of the highest scoring teams in the league. I'm going to go the first period over here. Florida on a 14-4 run over their last 18 games to a first period over. Minnesota at 65% this year to first period over. It's heavy juice at -170. I've shopped around. I've even seen over 2 at +105. Wow. So if you're not comfortable playing the juice, maybe you take the 2. In worst case scenario, you get a push. But it's certainly interesting to see that these 2 high-scoring offenses are generating that kind of line movement to a over 2 in the first period.
I kind of like the over 2, to be honest with you. I mean, these are 2 of the top 3 scoring teams in the league, like you were saying, and +105. I love getting my plus money bets. The juice might be worth the squeeze.
Yes.
For the over in this one. And the over under for the entire game is 7. And that's +110 right now on FanDuel that I'm looking at. I kind of like the over on that. I'm not going to be.
Why fight it?
Why fight it? Just let it happen. Just let it happen. So, and I know your best bet of the day is Butler +9. People can.
I'll get there. I got more for you.
Oh, you got more for me. Okay, well, I'm going to go through my best bet of the day. Florida Panthers taking on the Minnesota Wild, just because you were talking about that game. I like the Panthers 3-way money line. I look at this. The last time these teams played, January of 2020, before the pandemic even hit. Okay, January of 2020, Florida won that game in Minnesota. That was the only win that Florida had in their last 8 trips to St. Paul. That dates back to 2010. The Wild are really good at home, too. They have 38 wins in their last 51 home games. They've won 4 of the last 5 against team with a win percentage of over 600. But the Ice Cats have only beaten the Wild on 8 of the last 26 head-to-head games. But the Ice Cats have been doing so well for me lately. I cannot fade them. They're coming off of that huge win against Carolina. They're 2-1-0 in this current 5-game road stretch, 5-1-0 in their last 6 games. Bobrovsky's been solid between the pipes, 2.54 goals against average, 929 save percentage. The Panthers are first in goals per game, 16th in goals allowed. Minnesota, I know they're on a hot stretch. They're 11-2-1 in their last 14 games. They're 3rd most in goals scored per game, 15th in goals conceded. I just think the Panthers are in a good spot right here. They're coming off of a massive win, which people would say is a letdown spot. I can't fade the team that's been winning me money, though. I can't do it. So I like the Panthers 3-way money line. I like getting it at plus money at +125. And they're going to break the streak again. They're going to get another win in St. Paul, Minnesota, XL Energy Center. Let's go, baby. Ice Cats all the way. And I also like the over at over 7 at +110, too. I think I'm going to sprinkle that. Not a full unit, but I will sprinkle that. You want to take your Butler bet again for your best bet of the day?
As I said earlier, Butler +9, the Bulldogs 5-2 as a road dog. Other than Georgetown, St. John has only beaten 2 other opponents by double digits this year. St. John's is allowing opponents to shoot 36% from 3. That should be a green light for guard Bryce Golden, who's shooting 38%, and forward Bo Hodges is shooting 35% from beyond the arc. This is a Butler Bulldogs team that can keep up with St. John's because of St. John's lack of defensive prowess. It's too many points for the Johnnies to be laying. I'll back Butler here, getting 9 points.
We love to see it, baby. That's it for us today. Quick and easy show, Zeno. Thanks so much for taking the time to come on, too, with Alex.
Anytime, LJ.
With Alex's energy-powered issues that he's having right now. Hopefully they can get that figured out. So that's it for us today. Find us on the Pickswise YouTube channel. Go to Pickswise.com. Follow us on Twitter. Mark Zeno. I'm Lauren Jabbar. Best of luck tonight, you guys. We'll see you tomorrow. Don't miss us too much. Let's get it. Let's bet it.